Welcome back, Meridian. So the question was, what's the average ledger close time on Stellar? And the closest answer is 5 seconds. It's actually generally a little less than that, but 5 seconds, close enough. Now that's how long it takes for all the nodes on the network to gather transactions, bundle them into a transaction set, validate that set, vote on it, and apply it to the ledger. That's remarkably fast for blockchain, and it's possible because of the mathematical magic of the Stellar Consensus Protocol. Now, on with the show. It is time for our first community choice panel. So Stellar is open participation. You can build all kinds of things that take advantage of those fast ledger close times I just mentioned to settle value transfer. One innovative use case, tokenization for gaming. In our next session, the topic of which was, again, chosen by the greater Stellar community, Frederic Rezeau, founder of Litemint, and Jai Baldán, a .NET SDK contributor, will talk about leveraging Stellar for gaming. Leading that conversation, SDF's Director of Marketing, Zac Freundt. Zac, take it away.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be here today. I'm really excited about this session. As Justin mentioned, that this is the first of our community voted sessions, and being pretty close to the community, it's really super cool to see how people are innovating across the ecosystem and the ways they're pushing Stellar outside of just how we think about it for payments. So these kind of innovative use cases give the ecosystem new insights into like new features or support or other potential ways Stellar can be used to connect people around the world. So today we're going to hear from Frederic Rezeau, the founder of Litemint, on the work he's been doing on Stellar with his game, and then also Jai Baldán. He is the creator of the Stellar Unity SDK from several years ago and is also working as a contributor on the Stellar.NET SDK. So yeah, first, Fred's going to kick it off by introducing his project Litemint, and go ahead. Unmute your...
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Fred.
Am I live?
Yes, you are.
Welcome. Okay, so hi Zach, hi everyone. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm going to do a short presentation on what we do at Litemint and how Stellar also can be used in gaming use cases. Just a minute. Right, sorry about that. So yes, my name is Frederic Rezeau. I am the founder of Litemint and also the new owner of Stellarport. So for those who do not know, very quickly, Litemint is a gaming platform, and it extends the user experience with blockchain-based features like game asset tokenization and microtransaction as well. So I will talk about this in more details later in this presentation. As you can see from this video, Litemint is cross-platform as well, so it's available on mobile, on desktop, and also as a web app. It is open source, MIT licensed, and the Stellar wallet is non-custodial. And also a very important point, Litemint does not lock users into a specific wallet. So if you like another wallet from the ecosystem, you can just link your public key and enjoy the same experience. So Litemint obviously has additional tools like Gamer ID for universal sync through Stellar Federation, in-game shopping, discovery, but nothing is mandatory. And I think this part is quite important. So in this next slide, I wanted to start with a very quick timeline on the project. So Litemint has been 1 year in development before it was released in June 2019. We got 36,000 players and over 17,000 installed on Google Play during the first 3 months. Then the project was submitted to the Stellar Community Fund, the SCF competition in October. And we won that competition in December and acquired Stellarport at the same time. The goal is to create more synergy between the two worlds. So we have started some iterations to improve the UX based on users and players' feedback. But we are going to go through many more iterations in the coming months and during 2021, especially with Protocol 15 upgrade, which is going to be, I think, a game changer. And then in April 2020, we released our first in-house game called Litemint IO. So the game offers a massively multiplayer experience, and it's coupled with a tradable card game mechanic. And so I think the formula works very well. We got 42,000 players now, 44 now, and then we have played over 1 million cards battle in total. So those players are also very engaged. And based on this success, we organized our first esports global tournament, which was streamed live thanks to Sam Connor for hosting this event. And we issued our first non-fungible token, so NFT on Stellar, to the winner at the end of the event. And actually, I wanted to show you some highlights from this event. That's going to be the next slide. Okay, so there is no sound.
Fred, can you explain a little bit about what's going on in the
Right.
party?
So yes, I was waiting for the sound, but I think there's no sound on these slides. Yes, basically we played our first esports tournament, and it was streamed. Sam gave us the honor to host the event, and basically during that stream we issued live the first non-fungible token for the game Litemint IO on Stellar. So the winner was a Russian, a Black Swan, and then each is won that token that you can see on the screen. So as I was saying, I think this success is due to our opt-in approach to blockchain gaming. So as you can see from this screenshot, I don't know if I am in sync with the slides because. Right. So anyway, as you can see from these screenshots from a Google search, Litemint IO is playable from top gaming portals, and it has a potential exposure to millions of gamers. And it also gets, as you can see, very high ratings. So this shows that we are gaming first. And for example, I am personally discussing with players on a daily basis on Discord to gather their feedback. And I think that this is very important if we really want to create adoption for blockchain games, that we also allow players from the outside world to join us. Because what we are trying to do is to improve a gamer's experience with the blockchain and not isolating games on the blockchain, basically. And that's the way we can really try to find a way to tap into the real gaming market. So, right, I also wanted to make a quick parenthesis. So that photo was taken during Meridian 2019 in Mexico. It brings back some memory, but I wanted to use it to illustrate how Stellar is being inclusive of all use cases. If you plan to build anything on Stellar and you're worried that there is no precedent, for example, like us, then I just recommend you give it a go, because above all the technical consideration, we have constantly had interactions with SDF and even the ecosystem. And this has helped Litemint to grow a lot. So yeah, I think Litemint would not be what it is now without this kind of interaction. Now on this slide, so I wanted to talk about the Stellar experience itself, but from a technology point of view, what Stellar actually brings to our games and what it can bring to the gaming industry in general. So first, we have microtransactions, and it goes further than just providing a convenient payment system, because disintermediation, I think, will reshape the complete gaming ecosystem. For example, if you currently try to sell some digital goods in your games, there is not much choice, right? You have to have your game, for example, on the App Store, on Steam, on the Play Store. And then therefore you have this kind of centralized world where only a few platforms are viable for monetizing your game. And I think with peer-to-peer microtransactions, then this landscape can change a lot, because anyone can upload its content on any website and ask users for payments through a decentralized mean. So you also have game asset tokenization. Provides ownership and access to global trades for players. So people mention this like something new. But trading game assets is not new. I think it is just that now we have a generic and global technology to provide for these markets and the needs. And then the last point to me is the most important, I think, is cross-game assets. When you issue game assets on the blockchain, they are available to anyone, not just the game issuer. So I think collaboration and creativity can do a lot. And this is where a lot of innovation will happen with this newfound interoperability. So we'll probably be able to discuss all these points in more details during the discussion. Then again, litemint.com if you want to learn more from the gaming platform and about our Stellar wallet. And we also have a blog where we talk about NFTs and adoption. Litemint.io, if you want to play, you press play and you can just jump in the first battle, card battle. And also don't hesitate to join our daily discussions with the gamers on Discord. You can type litemint.jj to get the invite link to the Discord server. So thank you very much, and thank you for listening.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And I think there's some topics that we're going to want to go back and touch on shortly after we talk to Jay, because Jay's doing a similar approach, but more to a VR virtual worlds thing and tokenization there. Yeah, Jay, if you'd like to hop in and explain how you got started and what you're working on now.
Hi, so let me see, where is the presentation? I can't see the presentation. Okay, nice, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Jay. I'm a maintainer of the .NET SDK and the creator of the Stellar SDK for Unity. And in this presentation, I'm gonna talk about virtual reality and Stellar. So basically, Uber is coming to stay. As you know, virtual reality is getting into our lives more and more. The virtual reality headsets are becoming more affordable, and the market is starting to grow. With this particular situation we have in the world at the moment with some changes in how we buy or how we interact with others, we are seeing how we need new technologies to help us opt into the future. So, is a Stellar and virtual reality a good combination? You may be asking yourself. In my opinion, it really is, but it also comes with some challenge. And an opinion without that is worthless. So let's see how we can use them together. Basically here you will see some use cases. Of course, there are many more, but I noted them, the ones that are interesting to me. You have, for example, tournaments when you can integrate a Stellar by adding tokens to the prizes. You have tokenization when a user can buy a skin in a game, and the skin is not like only in the server as a data. It's also in the blockchain. So you have the ability to shell or trade that skin to other user. You can also implement that as smart odds. For example, a company can announce themselves by giving the users token offers, samples, and so on, all in one place. And others, there are many more, like education, nations, charity runs, in-game economy. Basically, fast transitions on different anchors can make this viable. Can you imagine a virtual market where you trade using Stellar? In my imagination, it's like, for example, when you go to a market, a real market, you see like the different stores. My thinking is that, but in virtual reality. So like you have several stores, and you can like exchange tokens or pay for the goods you want, and later exchange them for the physical product or digital, whatever it is. It's the same, for example, if you go to the arcade place, like you have many machines to earn paper tokens and exchange them for price later. But what if we do that in Stellar? It could be very cool because it's the same but virtual. And of course, all of this is cool, but we also have challenges. And I noted here the ones that are more important to me. Some of them, for example, are usability. The usability and interactions should be as seamless as possible. This can be tricky to get right. And we want to hide the complex part of Stellar, but also allowing the users to have all the potential of the system. Engagement is not easy to do attractive or like a simple experience. And it's a must, because if you do like something very complex or that people don't know how to use, it can be very, very helpful. Education, the users must know beforehand the risk of some of the actions they can do. It's like when you have something virtual, it's a bit less important, but in the end, it's the same important as in real life. So we need to be careful with that. And compatibility, law regulations, store regulations, platform regulations, you know. Will the stores accept the use of cryptocurrency? For example, Apple Store, Steam, Oculus. We need to see that. Okay, so here is where we are in the Stellar in Unity timeline. The SDK was released in 2018. And basically, we are now in a good situation that we can just implement the SDK with 2 clicks and start using it. So it's pretty good. As a surprise, I have here is a open source Uber wallet that I'm creating. It's basically a modular wallet for Stellar inside Unity that you can use for quick start your creation if you want to do something with Stellar and virtual reality. And it can be expanded with new features easily, and it will be available on GitHub soon. So stand by and check it out. This is it for now, and a special thanks to those people and also my current employer, that is Lingo Kids. Big thanks to everyone. And Zac?
All right, so real quick, I wanted to follow up on something just since we're on the VR side. So clearly, like experiments like from companies like Linden Labs with Second Life prove that people are willing to pay for digital property or digital assets, and that there's a marketplace in the economy that opens up around that sort of thing. And so I don't think it's a secret like that the long-term dream of VR from its early inception is like these virtual worlds, right? But I think what you're seeing and happen is that you have these different approaches that companies are taking to this. You have the ones where you have Facebook who acquires Oculus and they're probably building a closed platform, or you have Second Life that's still around today, and these, or Fortnite where people are turning into playgrounds. And I'm curious, like if you could have anything like in the world, what would your ideal vision for this be? Would it be something where all these VR worlds are interconnected, but in like a distributed network sense, and these assets are shared across the world? Or do you think this centralized approach is something that will take off or hinder it? And this is an open discussion, so either one of you gentlemen are welcome to answer.
Okay, so if you allow me, Frederic, to start. Okay, thank you. Basically, in my opinion, I think the most important part of this is the tokenization of the assets. Everything falls into that same place, like you can use tokenization for anything you want. So in my opinion, it's not about having decentralized worlds. That is nice too, but I think tokenization is more important, to be honest.
So for something like the Unity SDK wallet that you're working on for VR, like, is that something that you would expect people just to implement into their own applications, and then it'd be up to things like Fred had mentioned, where you would different applications, if they wanted an open environment, would integrate these assets across the board?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Okay, cool. Fred, I have a question for you. You know, I think when people think about blockchain and gaming, they think about it like in regards to Ethereum, right? A lot of these games that you see in the blockchain space are Ethereum games, and there's a lot of reasons that that makes sense. But I'm curious, why did you decide to go with Stellar? And I'm sure there were challenges along the way. And how did you overcome those?
Yeah, I mean, so to me, Stellar is the only realistic blockchain that I could find because first, it's cheap, very cheap transactions and fast as well. I mean, it's not like high frequency trading, but it's like for what we want to do in-app purchases, it's very adequate. And realistic, why? Because when you want to sell any digital items in a game, basically what you want to do first is to provide a lot of free content to your players. So it never happens that you just push a game with level 1 and people are going to buy just out of without even a taste of the game. And usually you need a lot of free content. So if you think of issuing this content on the blockchain as free content to your players before you can even hope to make a return from what from the conversion that you would get, then there's a lot of upfront cost that you would have to have. And for example, if I take just Litemint.io, so we have 44,000 players now almost. They have unlocked in average 4 cards each. And if we were to issue those on Ethereum, then it would cost thousands of dollars, and especially upfront cost. And and we have actually issued them on the Stellar blockchain because so those tokens are waiting for the players to enable the trust line on their wallet, and then they will immediately be sent to the player's wallet, but they are already issued, and it costed almost nothing virtually. And even NFTs would be a bit higher in cost, especially on because we need to have a reserve for the trust line, and we need to freeze the account, so we can't even recover that reserve ever. But even after, when players decide to send those items between each other or trade them, the costs are virtually free. While on Ethereum, every single transaction can be quite costly, especially now with the crypto markets going up.
I think that's interesting, and we've gotten a couple of questions from the audience that kind of touch on NFTs on Stellar. And I think, you know, there's been a lot of experimentation and people have tried different things. You particularly came up with your own way for issuing NFTs to work with Litemint, and I think you can talk about that in just a second. But I want to ask this question that's come up a couple of times from the audience: is like, the DEX is not necessarily a good order book for NFTs, and so I'm curious, like, what your vision is, I guess, for like an NFT marketplace, or what the benefits are using like a Stellar NFT versus an ERC like 721.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's a very good question, because we have a lot of feedback from players. At the moment, what happens in Litemint.io when they want to trade, I redirect them to Stellar Port. And even though we revamped a little bit the UI, it's far too complicated for players who have no exposure to trading on, especially on the SDEX and the crypto world. So what I am trying to do at the moment is to work on a complete revamp of the UI and providing additional tools as well to abstract the concept of SDEX. So basically, it would look like more like a shopping experience rather than okay, you go there, you match your pair, and then you try to see which bid and offers you want, and then you hit them. So yes, we need to work a lot on that. I think Protocol 15 with the claimable balances and the sponsorship of reserves is going to help a lot as well, because we had a lot of problems also having players on board and understanding the concept of trust line. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done to streamline this experience. And also the fact that the amounts are not very intuitive. So an NFT on Stellar is a stroop. So there's a lot of zeros behind the decimal. And then we need to do a lot of efforts here to provide the tools that will encourage this kind of trades. But I don't think it's something that is impossible to do.
Awesome. So Jay, I have a question for you related to some of the VR work you're doing or the Unity stuff. What do you think the most important thing to do to start getting, I'd say, the open VR community interested in exploring Stellar? Like where do we go? Do I go to VR chat and just start saying, try the Stellar Unity thing, or do I need to start looking more close to the ground and on forums or other communities?
I think the users should be like, I don't know how to explain. Like, for example, when you go to the Steam inventory, it's easy because you have, for example, your skins and everyone knows what's that. If you implement the SDK of Stellar inside your games, the more games that have that, the more people will know. So yes, you can go to Uber chat and explain to them what's that, but if they don't use that, if they don't experiment with it, they are not going to know what it is. So yeah, it's kind of difficult, but it's not impossible.
I have another question. This one coming from the audience, and it could be for both of you. How would gaming tokens be anchored? So how can you maintain stable conversions from off-chain or fiat assets to gaming tokens? How would you?
Frederic, do you want to?
I mean, well, the way it works in Litemint, so we have an Anchor account, an issuer account that issues all the tokens, and the players are essentially free to trade them as they want on the SDEX. So there is no specific limitation about what they can do. You know, if they want, for example, we issue the credit token, which is the currency of Litemint.io. They can use it in the shop to buy cards, and they can also trade it on the SDEX in order to change them against BTC or XLM or anything they want. So I don't know if I answered the question properly, but basically, it's as free as it can be.
I have Jay. Did you want to touch on that as well, or?
To be honest, I have no information to share about that. Sorry.
I think this one, though, kind of is a follow-up to that, and it's another audience question. It's how does key exchange work in the context of VR? So, for example, we have things in real life like QR codes, but what does the payment flow look like for a virtual environment, or how does key storage or key exchange work?
Yeah, that's a problem I talked about in the presentation, that is the usability. If you put a keychain like address in the screen, you don't know how to copy or you don't know how to write that. You are not going to take the glasses out and start writing in the paper. So actually, there are many ways to work on that, but QR codes, email, Stellar War, those things maybe are a good integration to do.
I think a question that comes up for me is, what do you guys envision being something that would link these different games? Both of you have talked about, okay, you have the virtual marketplace, or you have different games that could utilize and leverage assets. Where does that link happen? Are you combining these things based on your keys, on your private keys in your account? Or if you're looking at games today and every single thing has a different launcher and a different login and all this other stuff, how do you kind of solve this problem? I know Litemint is trying to do it a lot with the different game functionality it has there. Is that how you see the solution working, Fred?
Well, I mean, in terms of the interoperability between all those assets, I think it's very free, because once the asset is on the blockchain, then anyone can read the blockchain and then have a proof that some players has ownership of this asset, and therefore can do something in the game from the logic of the game in order to provide a perk or something to the player. So for example, it can be as simple as unlocking a badge in a Stellar Quest, then it lands on the wallet of the player. From Litemint, if I want, then we can add some perk to these players because he has unlocked a badge in Stellar Quest, and therefore we can create some cross promotion between content like this. So it can be as simple as this, or as wide as let's just imagine in the future we have a successful role-playing game like World of Warcraft, and they issue their characters on the blockchain. Then that means anyone can actually read those tokens and then import them into another world, another experience, and then therefore we can create extremely connected world without, and what the magic of it is that this can be done without the coordination between the developers of the two different games. And that means we can really have something extremely involved, created with those tokens in the future.
Awesome. So yeah, I think that's about all the time we have, but I think this is definitely a space that can be explored more. And I think more and more conversations are really important to be had. I know tomorrow, if anybody's interested in continuing the conversation, there's a Stellar for Gaming like open table discussion, which I encourage everybody to go join with Tyler here. But I want to thank you both for your time today. It's been really, really great. And yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach, and thanks, Jay and Fred. You know, it's pretty amazing to see all that imagination driving such great innovation. I personally love the Litemint card battles, and if you haven't already checked them out, you should definitely check them out. That session that Zach mentioned, you can find it on the Interactive Sessions tab. And again, tomorrow is really devoted to networking and roundtables about different topics. So definitely check those out. Definitely sign up for the ones that interest you.